Wow.
I did, but I didn't.
Also have a Sharpie.
I want to thank everyone
I'll talk.
to our
Debbie
annual
Snyder,
summit here today.
thank you.
And I'd like to
Thought you
introduce
wanted to-
Evan,
Okay, all right,
who
thank you.
works in
Oh, you're
Commissioner
welcome.
Fickus' office.
Regina Blair.
And this is the courthouse that Commissioner Fickus works out of.
Good morning. This is a great crowd, and we are so excited to be hosting you here today. On behalf of Commissioner Fickus, I want to welcome you to the Northeast Courthouse. We are approaching our 2-year anniversary for us to be officed out of this courthouse. So it's wonderful for you to come and share in the history that we hope to preserve here in this courthouse going forward. And also after the summit, if you wanted to take a look around, Commissioner Fickus has done a history exhibit throughout the courthouse with pictures of the communities here in Northeast Tarrant County. There's history marked by them, so please stop by and take a look at that. Commissioner Fickus does apologize. He's out of town today at a conference for the county, and he wishes he could be here. But
Who is she doing?
you all know Commissioner Fickus, and he's so glad to be hosting this here again this year. So we welcome you, and if you have any questions about the courthouse or anything that our office does, just visit with me after the summit, and I will help you out. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do the pledges. Would you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Wes?
Thank you, Rob.
I'd like to introduce Wes, who is the chairman over the summit this year. He's back there, and he's got the box lunches ready to go, so you're free to get up and get your food. Thank you.
You want me to get yours?
Yeah, I like.
But it looks nice cleaned up. Not bad.
Excitement.
If you can hear me in the back. Hello? If you can't hear me, don't say anything. All right, we're going to get started with the summit, but I think, we really need to initially say something about the lunches. I know Wes did a great deal of research on this, and after our vigorous discussion on the lunches at the recent meeting, the admin committee had an emergency meeting, and they added the cookies. And we thought that would really cross the line, and just really make it as elegant as possible. So anyway, I'm so delighted to see such a good turnout. And, you think about the knowledge that is in this room with, in terms of history and heritage. I mean, it's really impressive. And you all have the ability to touch so many different faces. So today, the focus of this is around two celebrations or commemorations. One is around 150 years of the Chisholm Trail, which is going to be recognized or celebrated in this coming year. And I think we're, certainly very knowledgeable and aware of the tremendous impact that trail, had on our communities and the state. And so Steve Myers is going to be talking about that. But the other thing, I know that Rick Seltzer is here, and he, for many, many years, was trying to connect the causes of World War I back to the Chisholm Trail. And there's still debate and discussion. Oh, there you go. Still debate and discussion about that. Kind of joking a little bit about it all, but in any case, there are interconnections in different kind of interesting ways. But certainly cattle have had a huge impact. But the other huge impact is aviation. And this coming year is also the beginning of a 2-year celebration of our recognition or commemoration of World War I. And I think that, you know, I had, in my own personal experience, I had a great-grandfather who served with the German Navy. I had a grandfather who served with the U.S. Navy. And so it was very interesting in my household where I was growing up to have kind of both sides of the war, the end all wars, and this quote-unquote Great War right there in the household. But I think that this commemoration provides an opportunity really to review from many, many different perspectives the significance that this period of time and this particular tragedy of a war has had. And I think we've got some really great speakers on all of this. So as just kind of your moderator and all of that, please, finish eating the cookies. They're really very, very good. But, or don't lose your cookies during the presentation. So anyway, Steve Byers is, of course, our chairman. But Steve has a particularly significant, background from the standpoint of the trails and its history. But his career, probably a lot of us don't realize or have not realized that he had a lot of dealings internationally in his professional world of dealing with the printing industry. So he traveled the world over, and in fact, even during that time, he loved to dress like he's dressed today and go over there and tell the Japanese all about cowboy stuff. And very few of the cowboys, well, some had sushi on the trail, but not very many. In any case, but his love of the trail and this history goes way back. He actually was born in Abilene, Texas, which is the other end of the trail. So he gets both ends, you might say. But in any case, his love of Visco really goes back to Abilene. But he has been in this area for a number of years, and I met him at the Cattle Raisers Museum, and when it used to be on 7th Street, and we used to talk about the trail and things like that. But since that time, he's become a leader in the state of Texas, and also up and down the 3 states that are principally involved in talking about and researching and organizing events about the trail. So he is a real doer, or driver, as he likes to say. So anyway, at this point, I'm very honored that he is here. I'm honored that he's our chairman, and he's going to speak about the first of these commemorations and recognition, the Chisholm Trail. And after he speaks, we'll go on to the other speakers on the other topic, World War I. Steve Byers.
Thank you, Doug. As Doug said, I've been interested in the Chisholm Trail ever since I was a little boy playing cowboys in the history of the trail. As Doug mentioned, I was a docent at the Cattle Raisers Museum for a number of years, and would tell the story over there. And one day in walked Bob Clemming from Oklahoma that told the story about the Chisholm Trail in Oklahoma. And he actually designed a Chisholm Trail marker, and he put one every mile for the state of Oklahoma. It took him 15 years to do that.
Wow.
And Billy Kate and I, Billy's from Cleburne, he built the outdoor Chisholm Trail Museum that's over off of Highway 67 that you can go by there. And he and I went on a project to work on marking the trail in Texas. And we talked with the Texas Historic Commission to let them know what the project is, and worked with all the counties and cities along the trail to tell the story about the Chisholm Trail and the place markers throughout the state of Texas. I wanted to introduce you my favorite hero in Texas on the Chisholm Trail. This gentleman is Peter Presteneck. I don't know how many people have heard of him, but he was a cowboy that went up the trail when he was 17 years old. He had a ranch up in Vernon, Texas, and he had a house in Donna, Texas. And he came into some money through the oil business back in the day, and he worked with the state of Texas on designing these markers. In 1930, Frank Dobie, and everyone knows the story of Frank Dobie, was authorized by the Texas Highway Commission to name the cattle trails in Texas. And the trail that went through Fort Worth was called the Old Chisholm Trail, and the trail that went to Dodge City was called the Western Chisholm Trail. A lot of people today will not use the word Chisholm on the Western Trail, but that was the official name back in 1930. Peter Preston Eckley put up the first $1,000 to build a marker at Grange Crossing about the old trail drivers of Texas and the crossing there. They had a dedication where they had 35 trail drivers of Texas, the old trail drivers of Texas, that came to it. They saw the marker and they said, "We don't want the name Chisholm on there." And Peter Preston Eckley said, "Then give me my $1,000 back," because he paid for the marker. And so that created this issue in the state of Texas where a lot of people will say there was never a Chisholm Trail in Texas. But Peter Preston and Eckley went out to the state of Texas. They designed these markers. And they put one in every county where the trail went through. And this is the car that he drove around placing those markers. Here, there's one in front of the Capitol building. This one is over in Wise County. And the gentleman, Stephen Walker at TxDOT, took on the project to replace all those markers throughout the state of Texas. So right now, TxDOT is working with all the counties on replacing these markers. Tarrant County is going to get 2 of them. One's going to go to the courthouse and one down in the stockyard. So there's 40 markers that will be replaced. And then they're trying to get this done before the celebration in 2015. I mean 2017. Sorry.
I got back on stage now too.
So we're working with TxDOT and with the state of Texas to get all that replaced and have the celebrations along the trail. I've also been working with the group in Oklahoma, the group in Kansas on the 150th anniversary in 2017. And this is the logo that was designed by the Oklahoma Historic Commission. And we got the Texas Historic Commission to agree that we'll all use this along the trail for the 2017 centennial. So Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas will be using this. Oklahoma has a website that is Chisholm Trail 150th that we're going to be using to have all the events that's going on in the state of Texas. So you could go to that website and look up the events that's happening there. How many are you familiar with this Chisholm Trail brochure? The state of Texas is going to do a reprint of this brochure for the 150th anniversary. They're going to put the logo on it. And they're also developing an app for the 150th anniversary of the Chisholm Trail. And they're also going to do an app for World War I that's coming up in 2017. So these are some of the things that's happening here in the state of Texas on the Chisholm Trail. Oklahoma is promoting the trail along their state. Kansas is working on it. And there was talk that a group from Kansas was going to do a cattle drive from San Antonio to Abilene, Kansas, but I'm not sure if that's developed yet, but they were talking about doing that. So that would be coming up. So this is the person that no one really remembers, but he's the one that designed this going up the Texas Trail sign, and he's the one that has kept the Chisholm Trail alive and as we know it today. I also brought in a map here. This is a map shows the Chisholm Trail. This is 1871. and it's General McKenzie's Indian map that was made up. And it actually shows the Chisholm Trail, Jesse Chisholm's Trail, from San Antonio all the way up to Abilene, Kansas. If you get a chance, take a look at that. Does anybody have any questions about the Chisholm Trail?
What you mentioned, who was Jesse?
Does everyone here know Jesse Chisholm?
He's dead if you.
It's dead.
Well, do you know the story? Do you know the story of Jesse Chisholm?
Tell us the story.
All right.
No, we got to go home.
Jesse Chisholm was half Scottish and half Cherokee Indian. And his father was Scottish and his mother was a Cherokee Indian. And they lived in Tennessee, and his grandfather had a bar in Knoxville. And it's still there today. But Jesse Chisholm, when he was a young man, his mother took him to Fort Smith, Arkansas. And Jesse learned 24 different Indian languages. And when he was 19 years old, the federal government hired him to go into Indian Territory and build the first fort west of Fort Smith, Arkansas. And that was Fort Gibson. And then from there, he started working with the government on putting forts around the Oklahoma Indian Territory. And he met up with Sam Houston, and Sam Houston and Jesse Chisholm had a place down outside of Waco, Texas. It was a trading post with the Tory brothers. And Jesse Chisholm would do jobs for the state of Texas. I have some documentation and have some copies of the bills that were paid to Jesse Chisholm. It was like $480, which was pretty good for that time. But he was involved with a lot of stuff that happened here in Texas. He's involved with the Bird Fort Treaty. How many people are familiar with that? Great. Well, the Bird Fort Treaty was to move all the Indians west of the eastern timberline. And that's where the slogan goes, Fort Worth is where the West begins, because all the Indians were moved west of here. And Jesse Chisholm and Sam Houston were involved with that treaty. You want to add anything, Doug?
Well, I think the issue here, or the opportunity, is for all of us to delve into this important piece of history from the standpoint of the heritage of each of our areas and the relationship, to the trail, identifying some of the people who, in fact, that may have been trail drivers, from and ended up living in the communities that we have here in Tarrant County. But this all begins, and I think there will be plenty of opportunities to recognize things, from the standpoint of public art. The Chisholm Trail mural in Sundance is probably one of the most photographed pieces of art in our city. And I think it's important to kind of recognize the artwork that has come out, or even you think about the whole image of the cowboy, and it's so related to this kind of particular period of time. So with that, let's transition to the next slide, and